Next, Mr. Chameleon and the engagement ring murder case. Tonight we again present the famous Mr. Chameleon of Central Police Headquarters in his famous cases of crime and murder, brought to you by the makers of genuine Bayer aspirin. Mr. Chameleon, as you know, is the famous and dreaded detective who frequently uses a disguise to track down a killer, a disguise which at all times is recognized by the audience. Tonight we give you Mr. Chameleon in the engagement ring murder case. The scene opens in one of mid-Manhattan's many moderate-priced boarding houses. And in a little parlor used by the young women boarders to receive their boyfriends, we see an altogether charming girl, Anna Parks, holding up the third finger of her left hand as a personable young lad is about to slip an engagement ring on it. A ring that becomes the center of a famous murder case.
Oh, Ted, it's perfectly gorgeous. Darling, I never expected a diamond like this.
Wait till you hear about it, sweet.
You're not a millionaire in disguise, are you, Ted?
Well, it's not a real diamond, Anna. It's one of those new synthetic things. But none of our friends will catch on.
I don't care whether it's real or paste, Ted. I love you.
Someday I'll be able to buy you a real one, Anna.
Our love is real, and that's all that counts.
Oh, you're wonderful, darling.
Oh, Ted, all the girls in the show will simply turn green.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't know anybody was in here.
It's all right, Mrs. Groves. Come in. Look at this on my engagement finger.
Well, what a whopper of a diamond. Why, I've never seen the like of it in my life.
It's my engagement ring. Ted just gave it to me.
Like it, Mrs. Groves?
Why, sure, who wouldn't, Ted? I just can't help wondering where you got that stone.
Oh, that's a little secret between Ted and me.
Oh, I see.
Great heavens, it's almost 8. I've got to run or I'll be late for the first show. Bye, Anna. Bye, Mrs. Groves.
Maybe I got no right. But I'm going to talk to you like your mother would, if you had one.
What?
It's about that ring.
About the ring?
That boy you're fixing to marry could pay for a ring like that, just about the way I could.
But, Mrs. Groves...
And the boarding house business ain't exactly making me rich. Before you go on any further about marrying Ted, you better look into things. Find out where he got the rock.
But you don't understand.
Understand what?
Cross your heart and hope to die, Mrs. Groves, if I tell you something.
What, kid?
This diamond Ted gave me isn't real. It's one of those new imitations. He told me himself.
Oh, little Alice in Wonderland.
What?
Listen, I haven't been in show business and later running a theatrical boarding house without knowing a rock when I see it.
But, Mrs. Groves...
It ain't my business, but I'm telling you, find out about that sparkler before you get yourself into trouble.
But how can I find out about it, Mrs. Groves?
Well, there's a pawn shop down at the corner run by a guy named Goldsmith that's got an eye for what is and what ain't.
But why should Ted give me a real diamond and tell me it's an imitation?
Funny things happen in this town. I got nothing to say against Ted, but I don't like the crowd he was palling around with before he saw the stars in your eyes, kid.
I know what you mean, Mrs. Groves. It's an awful thing to do, but I think I will go down to that pawn shop and have my engagement ring appraised.
And half an hour later, we hear a broken Minnie Groves talking to the astute and dreaded detective, Mr. Chameleon, as she says,
Oh, it was all my fault, Mr. Chameleon. You can put that poor child's murder on me. If I'd only kept my big mouth shut.
Well, suppose you tell me what happened, Minnie.
Just because I told her to have her engagement ring appraised. Otherwise, she wouldn't have left the house when she did.
Her engagement ring appraised?
I saw her boyfriend put it on her finger myself, sir. A diamond as big as your eye.
That's probably my partner, Detective Arnold. I'll let him in. Hello, Dave.
I left a couple of the boys with the girl's body, Mr. Chameleon. I thought you might want me here.
Yes, this is Mrs. Minnie Groves, the lady with whom the murdered girl Ann Parks boarded.
How are you, Mrs. Groves?
Dave, did you find a big diamond engagement ring on the body?
Why, no, Mr. Chameleon.
Oh, then it was a real diamond. Poor Anna Parks said it wasn't. I knew there was something funny about it.
I don't follow what you're talking about, Minnie, but anyway, you say that you sent her out to have her engagement ring appraised.
Sure, down to Goldsmith's pawn shop at the corner.
Goldsmith's pawn shop? I wonder if she ever got there.
Oh, that I don't know, Mr. Chameleon.
Dave, go to Goldsmith's place and find out if the victim was there, will you please?
Right away, Mr. Chameleon.
Now, Minnie?
Oh, it's all my fault.
Well, blaming yourself won't help me find Anna Parks' killer. Try to quiet down. Tell me about the engagement ring. You say that Anna thought it was an imitation and you thought it was real. Now, maybe she was marrying a rich man.
Rich man, Mr. Chameleon. She was marrying a stinking singer with a stinking dance band. If he ever got in tune, people would think something was wrong with him. A guy by the name of Ted Brooks.
Ted Brooks?
He gives Anna that big stone and tells her it's a phony. But I've been on the main stem too long not to know a real sparkler when I see it. When I was doing the Orpheum circuit in the old days, I had a few myself.
Yes, undoubtedly. But this is the first time that I've ever heard of a boy giving his girl a real diamond and telling her it was an imitation.
Between us, Mr. Chameleon, I think he stole it.
Huh?
If you knew some of the characters that Ted Brooks was thicker than thieves with...
Mr. Chameleon, the murdered girl was at the pawn shop, all right. The owner, Mr. Goldsmith, came back with me. You want to see him now?
Ask him to come in, Dave, please.
Come in, Mr. Goldsmith. This is Mr. Chameleon.
Seeing this is a matter of murder, Mr. Chameleon, I thought you might want to know what went on at my place before the young lady was killed.
Yes, that'd help a lot, Mr. Goldsmith.
Well, I was in the place alone when she came in and ran up to the counter and threw a big diamond ring down. Naturally, I thought she wanted to get some money on it, so I took out my glass.
I see.
It was about a 10-carat, absolutely flawless stone she had. Look, so I got a little careful.
Yes, I follow.
She was a nice-looking kid, but didn't look like a 10-carat customer to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, before I make a loan on this ring, you'll have to show me that it's really yours.
Right.
Then she started to cry and said, so it actually is a real diamond like Minnie Groves said. And I said something about having a $20,000 diamond wasn't anything to cry about.
Uh-huh.
So she said she hadn't come to pawn it, but to find out if it was real. And she started to leave.
Yes.
I told her to be careful. Running around these streets at night with a diamond like that wasn't so good for a girl alone. And now I come to the point of my story, Mr. Chameleon.
The point?
She looked outside and said a young fella and a girl that were passing lived here at Mrs. Grove's boarding house, and she'd go home with them. So she ran out and joined up with them.
What?
So, them two must have heard Anna Parks and me talking about that ring. Oh, if I'd only had the brains to keep a big mouth shut.
What two people do you mean, Minnie?
Maisie Adams and the guy she teams around with, Bill Blandon. And get this, Mr. Chameleon. Them and Ted Brooks.
The boy who gave the murder girl the ring?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
The three of them, Ted and Maisie and Bill, was thicker than thieves till last week when they had a terrible blow-up about a diamond. They said Ted had snitched from them.
Well.
If you don't need me any longer, Mr. Chameleon, I think I'll go back to my place and close up.
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Goldsmith, and many thanks for your help. Good night.
Good night.
Minnie, are Maisie Adams and Bill Blandon in their rooms now?
Oh, no. They're in the show at the Criterion. They won't be getting in till near midnight. But here's the key that unlocks their rooms, Mr. Chameleon.
Oh, thank you, Minnie. Dave, you take this key, please.
And give their rooms the once-over? Okay.
And meet me at the Criterion Theater in about an hour.
Right on, Mr. Chameleon.
Minnie, where is Ted Brooks, the murder girl's boyfriend, working?
He sings in the grill at the West Central Hotel.
Thank you, Minnie. I'll see you later. And him right away. Ted Brooks?
That's my name.
I'm Chameleon of Central Police Headquarters.
Mr. Chameleon, the big disguise cop? Well, who are you after?
I'm not particularly keen on telling you, Ted, but sooner or later I'll have to. It's about Anna Parks.
Anna? Well, nothing happened to her, did he?
She was murdered, Ted.
Anna? Oh, no. No, it can't be.
I've got a line on her killer, I believe, but I must get one thing from you, Ted.
From me? Oh, anything. Anything, Mr. Chameleon. Anna murdered.
Why did you tell her the diamond engagement ring that you gave her today was an imitation?
Because it was.
It was real. Valued at $20,000 by a pawnbroker who knows his business.
How did a pawnbroker get Anna's ring?
Well, she took it there to find out if it was a phony.
Anna took the ring I gave her to put in hock? I don't believe it.
Where'd you get the ring, Ted?
Why, I bought it off a guy in the grill here for $5.
What guy, Ted?
I'd not even know him if I saw him again, Mr. Chameleon. He said he'd run short of dough to pay his check. Told me the stone was one of those synthetic jobs, and it looked so good I gave him the $5. Why, I told Anna that's what it was when I gave it to her today.
You didn't happen to get it from a fellow boarder where Anna lived, or his girlfriend, did you?
Who?
Bill Blandon or Maisie Adams?
I got that ring from a guy here, just like I told you, Mr. Chameleon, and believe me, it was a phony. $20,000, that's nuts.
All right, Ted, have it your own way. If you decide to talk, to help bring Anna's killer to justice, give me a buzz at headquarters. Good night.
Mr. Chameleon?
Oh, hello, Dave.
I've got Maisie Adams and Bill Blandon in a dressing room backstage. They're inside.
Fine, Dave. Lead the way.
I didn't do much talking to them, Mr. Chameleon. Left that for you.
I noticed that you mentioned Maisie's name first, Dave. I'm wondering why.
Oh, maybe because the female is the more deadly of the species, Mr. Chameleon. Well, here's the dressing room now. I'll open the door. Maisie, Bill, this is Mr. Chameleon.
What's the big idea having us held here, Mr. Chameleon?
Because you and Bill Blandon were seen walking up the street, Maisie, with a girl who had a $20,000 diamond ring on her and was murdered. That's a big idea, isn't it?
So Maisie and I murdered Anna Parks. Why, Mr. Chameleon?
A $20,000 ring is a fairly good motive for murder, Bill.
Did anybody see us kill her, Mr. Chameleon?
Now, don't get excited, Maisie. I'm sure Mr. Chameleon is too intelligent a man to believe people like us capable of murder. Besides, we were very fond of Anna.
You mean you were?
The sad part is that Anna didn't know the diamond was real when she got it from Ted Brooks. She thought it was an imitation.
Who told you that fairy story, Mr. Chameleon?
For one, Ted Brooks.
Mr. Chameleon, Ted knew as well as I did that it was a real stone. Didn't he, Maisie?
As well as you knew. That's very interesting, Bill.
Well, he showed it to Maisie and me himself. And he knew it was hot. It was stolen.
Yes, and don't get the idea Anna Parks didn't know it too, Mr. Chameleon.
Minnie Groves, the woman who runs the rooming house, told me that she heard the three of you quarreling over a diamond last week, Maisie. You and Bill and Ted.
Trust old Minnie to be listening at the door. The quarrel she heard was when Maisie and I told Ted to give the diamond ring back to whoever he lifted it from. And he got sore about it.
Naturally, Bill and I didn't want to have anything to do with the stolen diamond, Mr. Chameleon. The whole idea was horrible.
Yes, no doubt. Let's get back to the murder scene.
Murder scene?
Yes, Maisie. The murdered girl was last seen walking up a dark street with you and Bill.
Whoever said that lied. All we did was cross the street with her.
And caught a bus to go to the theater, Mr. Chameleon. We were late already.
So that's your alibi, huh? Come along, Dave.
If you think Bill and I have the ring, why don't you search us, Mr. Chameleon?
Don't try kidding me, Maisie. Come along, Dave.
Mr. Chameleon and the engagement ring murder case continues in just a moment. Something to keep in mind when you're seeking fast relief from an ordinary headache is this. There's no necessity to guess about the speed with which your pain can be relieved because your own eyes can show you how quickly Bayer aspirin is ready to go to work. Simply drop the tablet in a glass of water and notice how soon it starts disintegrating. What it does in the water, it also does in your stomach. And when you make this test, it becomes almost instantly evident why Bayer aspirin gives you such amazingly fast relief. For the Bayer aspirin tablet starts disintegrating before it reaches the bottom of the glass, is actually ready to go to work in 2 seconds. Quick relief is one reason why it pays to take Bayer aspirin whenever you're in pain. Another is dependable relief. No other pain reliever can match its record of use by millions of normal people without ill effect. When you buy, ask for it by name, Bayer aspirin, not just for aspirin alone. Get the 100-tablet bottle and you get Bayer aspirin tablets for less than a penny apiece. And now back to Mr. Chameleon and the engagement ring murder case. And once again, we see Mr. Chameleon at Minnie Grove's theatrical boarding house. But this time to see Ted Brooks, the young man who gave the murdered girl the diamond engagement ring which led to her death. And we hear Mr. Chameleon saying,
Thanks for letting me know Ted Brooks is here, Minnie.
You want me to call him, Mr. Chameleon?
In just a minute, Minnie. I want to ask you something first.
Well, then we better go into the parlor where nobody will be hearing us.
Oh, all right.
You find anything out, Mr. Chameleon?
That's what I wanted to tell you, Minnie. I saw Ted Brooks at the grill where he sings.
Yeah?
Now, he stuck to his story about believing the diamond engagement ring he gave Anna was a phony.
The rock was an old cut. Phonies ain't cut that way.
Yes, I know. I saw Maisie Adams and Bill Blandon. And they told me that Ted knew the stone was genuine.
Ah, didn't I tell you?
And they claimed the fight that you heard between them and Ted was because they didn't want any part of a guy with a stolen jewel and wanted Ted to give it back to whoever he lifted it from.
And that's where they lied to you, Mr. Chameleon. They were fighting over the sparkler. Fighting over who'd get what.
Yes, I know.
I should have thrown 'em out then. But I got a 20-room house here, and you just can't keep track of who you've got.
Sounds like our bird is trying to fly the coop.
I've got a right to leave this house if I want.
Not when Mr. Chameleon wants to see you, Ted. Mr. Chameleon, I caught him trying to take a skip.
Now, what do you want with me, Mr. Chameleon?
Come in, Ted. You better go now, Minnie.
Sure, but you know where to find me.
Yes. Ted, you asked what I wanted with you.
I've told you everything I know.
It's a strange way to act when the girl you love has been murdered.
Oh, poor Anna. Why did I get her into this mess?
Well, tell me who the man was you got the engagement ring from that led to Anna's murder, and I'll guarantee to bring her killer to the chair.
Mr. Chameleon, I didn't tell you because I was afraid I'd be the next one to go. Oh, but now I don't care.
Who's the man, Ted?
An actor from the same show Bill Blandon and Maisie Adams are in. His name is Percy Rhodes. Percy Rhodes. Now they'll kill me, but what's the difference?
We won't give him the chance to kill you, Ted. By the way, does this Percy Rhodes live here, too?
No, he lives in the same hotel where I sing with the band, Mr. Chameleon.
Dave, round up Percy Rhodes, take him into headquarters and question him. Find out what his connection with Bill Blandon and Maisie Adams is. Make him talk.
Okay, Mr. Chameleon.
Can I leave now, Mr. Chameleon? I'm due back for a rehearsal of a new number.
Yes, Ted. Ride over with Detective Arnold, if you like.
That'll be swell. Bye.
Well, that is that. And I think I have the answer. Oh, it's you, Minnie. Did you hear anything that went on in here?
No, Mr. Chameleon. I was on the telephone while you was talking to Ted. Mr. Goldsmith rung up in terrible excitement.
Mr. Goldsmith, the pawnbroker?
Yeah. He said he had something important for you, so I told him to come over right away.
Good.
Oh, that's him now. I'll go let him in.
Right.
Mr. Chameleon, after I went to bed, I started thinking, and something occurred to me that may help your investigation of Anna Park's murder.
Good, Mr. Goldsmith.
So I went back to my place and got these jewels out. They were pawned with me by Bill Blandon and his girl Maisie about a month ago.
What do you think of that?
I don't know, Minnie. They don't seem to be of great value, Mr. Goldsmith.
Oh, 1,000 or so, but they're of the same cut and period of the $20,000 engagement ring the murdered Anna Parks brought me to appraise.
Well. That is really pertinent, Mr. Goldsmith. Yes, I can see the end of this case.
And now, the next afternoon, we find Mr. Chameleon in the office of the Commissioner of Police. And with him is Detective Dave Arnold. And we hear Mr. Chameleon say,
"The difficulty, Commissioner, is that I've got 4 suspects who may have killed that poor girl."
But, Chameleon, you say only 1 or perhaps 2 did it. What are you leading to?
You're still holding that actor, Percy Rhodes, on detention?
Certainly. And after what he said, we're not turning him loose.
Well, don't. Because I'm going into disguise as Percy Rhodes.
What?
And I propose trying a queer trick. The only thing is that I need 1 more man besides Dave Arnold with me.
Well, what about me, Chameleon? I started as a cop, and it's been years since I've been in on the kill outside of this office.
You mean that, Commissioner?
Mean it, Chameleon? I'm aching for it. What's the trick you want pulled?
Well, my idea is to get all our suspects and witnesses together at Minnie Groves and ask them to submit to the truth drug test.
The sodium amytal test.
Right, Commissioner.
Well, who's going to give the hypodermic injection of the truth drug, Chameleon?
Nobody. I'm going to let them think the truth drug can be taken in a capsule. And ours will contain plain water. And whoever refuses the test, well, we'll see what happens.
Better get into your disguise, Chameleon. I'm raring to go.
Give me 30 minutes and I'll be actor Percy Rhodes in the life. Dave.
Yes, sir.
Have the suspects rounded up at Minnie's boarding house. Then we'll all rehearse our particular act on the way out.
And shortly after, we see Mr. Chameleon in his disguise as the actor Percy Rhodes, the Commissioner of Police, and Detective Dave Arnold in the little parlor at Minnie Groves Theatrical Boarding House. And we hear Mr. Chameleon in the voice of his disguise saying,
"Detective Arnold, I came here as a witness, not as a prisoner."
Now, what's burning you, Rhodes? Talk when you're asked something.
I thought Mr. Chameleon was coming with you, Detective Arnold.
He sprained his ankle, Minnie.
Oh, gee, that's tough.
So the Commissioner of Police came in Mr. Chameleon's place.
Police commissioners.
Now, tell me who each of these people is, Detective Arnold. And everybody stay quiet, please, while he's telling me.
Well, this character is Bill Blandon, and the dame sitting next is Maisie Adams.
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman over there is Mr. Goldsmith, the pawnbroker, who's been helping Mr. Chameleon. And, of course, this is Minnie Groves.
To clear this up quickly, I'll start with our police witness, the actor, Percy Rhodes. Tell your story.
As I told you, Mr. Commissioner, and as I also told Mr. Chameleon...
Don't waste words, Rhodes. Get on with your story.
Sorry, Commissioner. This man and woman, Bill Blandon and Maisie Adams, got me to sell a diamond ring for $5 to Ted Brooks as an engagement ring for him to give the murdered girl.
For what reason, Rhodes?
Because they had stolen it and felt the heat on them. They had to get rid of it, and fast.
Without wasting words, Commissioner, Rhodes is a liar.
Rhodes was born a liar and will die a liar.
Shut up, you.
Bill and Maisie are the liars, Mr. Commissioner.
Now, take it easy, Minnie.
Well, I can see everybody here is going to call everybody else a liar, Detective Arnold, and that rarely accomplishes anything.
Looks that way, Commissioner.
I think I can settle that. Now, I have here a quantity of the truth drug, often used in police work to get at the truth. Now, who in this room will agree to submit to its test, and who won't?
I, Percy Rhodes, am glad to submit to the test, Commissioner.
Give Percy Rhodes one of the capsules, Dave.
Okay, swallow it, Rhodes. Good for you.
Don't think I'll take it, Commissioner. I won't, and you can't make me.
Who said anything about making you take it, Maisie?
And I'm having no part of it either, Commissioner.
No, Mr. Blandon? No?
I know the law.
Most criminals do, Blandon.
Well, since I have accused Bill and Maisie to Mr. Chameleon, I say it's only right that I take the truth drug too, Commissioner.
Good girl, Minnie. Here you are. Swallow it now. That's fine.
Well, thanks, Detective Arnold.
How about you, Mr. Goldsmith?
Well, is it necessary, Commissioner?
It's your option, Mr. Goldsmith. Take it or not.
Take it, Mr. Goldsmith. You got nothing to be afraid of. I took it and feel the same as before.
Well, give me one, Detective Arnold. Thanks.
And that is one of the biggest mistakes you ever made, Goldsmith.
You're not Percy Rhodes. You're Chameleon in disguise.
Chameleon?
Mr. Chameleon.
With that drug in you, Goldsmith, you can't lie any longer.
I've been tricked. Minnie, you old hag. You never took that capsule. You're working with Chameleon to put me in the chair. I'll tell everything, Mr. Chameleon. Minnie killed Anna Parks herself.
And I'm killing you now, Goldsmith. And the big chief, the commissioner, too. When Minnie Groves goes to the chair, it'll be for 3 killings, including Chameleon, the biggest cop in town.
Shoot to kill if you have to, Dad.
Oh, you dirty cop!
You're not hurt, Minnie. Get up.
I had no part in Anna Park's murder, Mr. Chameleon.
I know you didn't, Goldsmith. But you tell your story and see if it checks with mine. Now start with the engagement ring.
Minnie stole that 10-carat diamond ring and a lot of other jewels years ago. She pawned some with me and kept the others.
And Bill Blandon and Maisie pinched some of them from Minnie, including the 10-carat diamond ring. Is that right?
That's it, Mr. Chameleon. Then Minnie saw the engagement ring, the big diamond, turn up on the murdered girl, Anna Parks. She purposely told her to bring the ring to me.
To get Anna on a dark street where she could shoot her down?
No. She telephoned me to get the engagement ring away from Anna on one pretext or another, and I refused.
You see where that left me, Chameleon? There was nothing to do but wait for Anna on the way back and get my property.
The property that you stole from that famous actress Yvonne, who appeared on the same vaudeville bill with you years ago, Minnie.
Minnie might have got away with it, Mr. Chameleon, if she hadn't made me, at the point of a gun, bring those pieces of jewelry to you this afternoon, saying Bill and Maisie had pawned them with me.
And also, Goldsmith, if she hadn't told me just before that the fatal engagement ring was an old cut, and phony ones are new cut. She knew too much.
That truth drug surely brings things out, Mr. Chameleon.
Yes. What we gave you was water and psychology, Goldsmith.
Well, what are you going to do about it all, Chameleon?
Do about it, Minnie? Do my best to get you a seat in the electric chair. What else?
And with these words, Mr. Chameleon concludes tonight's murder case. If you've ever had difficulty giving your children the proper dosage of aspirin as prescribed by your doctor, you'll be glad to know you can now get genuine Bayer aspirin in a new children's-size tablet. These new tablets contain half the amount of the regular-size Bayer aspirin tablets, and with them you can conveniently give your child the dosage your doctor wants him to have. All you need use is one children's-size Bayer aspirin tablet, because each tablet is full dosage. In addition, they're neither colored nor flavored and hence cannot be mistaken for candy, and they may be used with complete confidence. For the fact that doctors prescribe Bayer aspirin single active ingredient even for the smallest children shows how gentle and dependable it is. The bottle and carton are plainly marked children's size Bayer aspirin, 30 tablets for 25 cents. Listen next Wednesday night at this same time for Mr. Chameleon, the Man of Many Faces, in The Coming of Age Murder Case. The part of Mr. Chameleon is played by Karl Swenson, with dialogue by Frank Hummert from the original story by Frank and Anne Hummert. It is directed by Richard Leonard, with music by Victor Arden. Your announcer is Howard Claney.
Next time you brush your teeth, notice if they're still as white and bright as they used to be. Many people are finding that improper cleaning has gradually caused their teeth to become dingy, and when this happens, your smile loses its attractiveness. To overcome this, you want a dentifrice that does more than combat tooth decay. You want a dentifrice that also whitens and brightens your teeth, really cleans them. And no dentifrice cleans teeth like powder. Try Dr. Lyon's tooth powder. And if you don't agree that it makes your teeth cleaner than your present dentifrice, whitens and brightens them so your smile sparkles with its old-time luster, your money will be refunded. Get either regular or ammoniated Dr. Lyon's tooth powder.
Listen for Mr. Chameleon in The Coming of Age Murder Case next Wednesday night at this time. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.